If you want to get your first AI agency client within 7 days or less, follow these exact steps. And when I first started out on my AI agency, I focused on the wrong things. I was looking at go high level and tutorials on YouTube, building something that I wasn't even ready to sell, and I didn't know how to sell it. And when you're starting an AI agency, the first mistake that people make is they're building something that they don't know if they can actually implement. They don't know if this is something that business actually need. And so the first thing that I would do in the first 7 days is, on the first day, we need to focus on offer creation. You need an offer that businesses actually need. And so in an offer is really only going to work if you understand your prospect's problems. So when you're starting out, it's likely that you have an idea of what businesses might need, because people are selling voice agents, AI SEO, they're selling lead generation, but you don't know exactly what is the biggest pain point that your prospects have. So the first thing that I would do is first niche down, right? Instead of just working with local businesses in general, think about what type of local businesses, right? Are you going to work with roofers, people in HVAC? Are you going to work with online businesses, people who sell insurance, people who sell courses, right? Focus on a particular niche of audiences, and then start talking to these people and get their problems right away. So the first day is offer creation, right? Focus on one particular thing. Are you going to do lead generation? Are you going to offer a service that provides them content? Or are you going to offer them a product, right? Are you going to build a software or something like that for them? From there, what you need to do is you need to find the fastest mechanism to have 5 to 10 conversations with this particular niche, right? Because within the first week, you don't know exactly if your offer is good or not, right? Even if you say, hey, I'm going to generate you 30 leads in the next 30 days, you don't know exactly what's the right type of leads, right? And what is a lead for someone in that industry. So the first thing that you need to do in the first 7 days is, depending on where you are in your business, if I had money to spend, I would directly go into paid ads, right? I would go to Meta Ads, spin up an ad, put my ad offer, give it a ChatGPT, so ChatGPT to create me an image ad, and run $50 a day on that ad and start getting people's phone numbers, emails, and see if they can book a call on Calendly so you actually speak to them, right? The more people that you speak to on the phone, the more people that you speak to on a Zoom call, the more you understand their problems and see if they actually want to buy from you. What that looks like in the first 7 days is you need to make sure that you're speaking to at least 5 to 10 business owners per day, right? 5 to 10 business owners per day, you're looking at between 35 to 70 business owners in the first 2 weeks, right? And I can imagine if you're talking to 10 business owners per day, you're going to having 10 conversations per day, 5 of them, don't even, I think, a good half of these prospects, you're talking to them to really even craft your offer, right? So the first 50% of business owners that you talk to, you're validating if your offer is something that actually wants. And from every conversation that you have, you're changing your offer, right? So I'm finding out that these businesses, for the leads that they actually want to get on phone calls with their customers, or maybe they just want the contact information for the customer, and then they'll contact them themselves, right? You need to figure out what your ICP actually means, right? Your ideal audience, and then you can dial in your offer. And after the first 50% of conversations are over, you're gonna have a solid offer that you actually know, right? But what is a solid offer, right? A solid offer that you present to these businesses will have these things, right? First, you're going to call out your niche, right? So for example, hey roofers, right? And what is their desired outcome? And with their desired outcome, how can you quantify it, right? Hey roofers, I'm going to get you 100 pre-qualified in-home estimates, right? And what is pre-qualified home estimates? It's going to, homeowners that need a roof. I'm going to put you with 100 pre-qualified estimates, and we're going to generate this, right? You need to remove a pain point that they have. We're going to do this without ad spend, right? Without ad spend. But how will you do this? You create a virtual call center with AI voice agents, right? And so roofers, I'm going to get you 100 pre-qualified homeowner appointments with homeowners who actually need a roof. We'll do this without ad spend, and we'll do this we'll build this out this system for you to build once and run this yourself within 90 days or less, right? So 90 days implementation of an AI call center that generates leads for them without ad spend, right? So first of all, you give them a quantifiable amount of results and leads that they would want. You reduce the pain point, which is saying, hey, you can do this without ad spend. and then you give them some sort of urgency. Say, hey, we can do this within 90 days or less. And so if you can quantify what you can get to your ICP, if you can quantify the urgency, right, the time that they can expect this to happen, and you can remove a pain point that they obviously have, then you have a good offer, right? And of course, you niche down to get this offer. And so from here, the other 50% of conversations, right? Let's say 4 days in, you finally dialed in your offer after talking to, 20, 30 roofers. The next 20, 30 roofers that you talk to, you would stick to this same offer that you have and tell them, hey, this is my offer. What do you think, right? Do you want it? Do you want to jump on a call, implement it, and then you'll price it, right? And to get my first client, what I would do is after you find your offer, I would run paid ads to have 5 to 10 clients per day. And then from here, I would sell this plan at $5,000 for 90 days, right? Because you have to look at, for your niche, what is the price of a closed job, right? A closed job for a roof is anywhere between $10,000 to $50,000. And so all they need within 90 days is to close, 1 to 3 jobs, and this whole system will pay for itself, right? And so for a service that's $5,000 for them that they could keep, and most businesses won't want to run this themselves, they can easily say yes, right? It makes sense to their head, right? So when you get on a call, you need to break down the logic to say, hey, what is your average price per roof that you're selling, right? If we get you 100, if we get you at least 10 leads in the first 30 days, where you get a 10 estimates, how many do you think you can close? Okay, if you think you can close at least 2 or 3 roofs, how much are those roofs? So at least $10,000. You're making $20,000, $30,000, and we've only spent $5,000 on this process, right, that we've implemented. And so if they can do the math in their heads, if you do the math with them, they're going to understand that your service, your AI automation service, is actually going to work for the business. And if you have 5 different conversations per day within the first 7 days, within the first 50% of conversations, you dial in your offer, and that's the same offer that you dial in for the next 50% of conversations, right? So you have 35 to 70 conversations in 7 days, right? And you're probably thinking, hey, 5 to 10, that's pretty easy, right? For cold calls, you're not going to be able to do that unless you're doing a lot of cold calls. So that's why I told you to run paid ads. If you're doing cold email, it's going to be a sheer numbers game, right? But if you can get 35 to 70 conversations with your target ICP, right? Qualified business owners who actually need your service, you're going to be able to sell your service to them. And if you don't want to do all the guesswork yourself and you want to work with us at AI Sales Academy for us to help you build out your offer, start making $10,000 per month or more in the next 90 days, book a call with us below. But if you look at the numbers and you do the math in your head, right? Let's say you talk to 70 business owners. All you need to do is close 1 out of 70 business owners to make $5,000, right? And let's do the math. Maybe you don't want to talk to 70 business owners. The cost really for roofers, I would say, is around $20, right? So talk to 70, 20 each lead is $20. Let's say, it costs really $20. Talk to 70 business owners, making you 100, 140 of them. So maybe you need to spend, between $1,400 to $2,800 on ads to be able to speak to 70 roofers. But of course, even on the high end, if you had to spend $2,800 on ads, and you sell a service, you just sell 1 out of the 70 roofers, you're making $5,000, right? And then you've nearly 2x'd your ad spend. And if you start out and get your first client within 7 days, you can easily just put that money back in ad spend and continue your client acquisition until you have enough money to pay someone to, run the service for you so you can focus on sales, and then hire someone to take over the sales, right? And so if you're looking to get your first client within 7 days, you need to stop looking at what automations and what things to build and start talking to your target ICP.